Hey, today everybody, I'm going to be teaching you how to do Method 1 RNGs in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This is for gift Pokemon. So this is for any Pokemon that is given to you by an NPC that isn't a trade. This can be something like what I'm doing here, which is the Game Corner prizes, but it could also be something like the gift Eevee from Bill, the fossil Pokemon, the starter Pokemon, although I have a separate video on starters because they're a little bit more annoying, so I would recommend you watch that instead, and so on and so forth. The only thing this doesn't apply to is trades. Trades are set, so you can't actually RNG manip them, but otherwise it can be applied to any stationary Pokemon. So I'm going to go over what you need both in-game and out-of-game in order to RNG manipulate them. So the first thing you're going to need in-game is 2 Chadots with a recorded chatter. A lot of people ask me, how do you do this? Chadot learns the move Chatter at like level 21, I think, and you can use it like a field move, and it will result in it having a custom cry. I'll let you listen to what that sounds like. You can say anything into the DS microphone, and you just use it like a field move after Chadot has learned it. It actually comes really close to this level using the Sinnoh Sounds radio feature in the Bell Tower in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so I would recommend just getting it there. Other than that, you're going to need Juggler Irwin registered in your Poke Gear, so I will show that. Juggler Irwin is the juggler just south of the national park in these games, and when you call him, you can use him to identify your initial seeds. Lastly, if you've got any roamers, it's important to know where they are. The roamers on the map can also help you identify your initial seed, and also the more roamers you have active, the more advances occur at the start of a game. So it is important to keep in mind. I've got all 3 active because it can be very quick to identify your initial seed using them. Now, lastly, it's sort of an in-game / out-of-game thing. It is, if you want a shiny, you need to know your secret ID. Knowing your secret ID is something that can be done either at the start of the game when you RNG manipulate it. I have a video on how to do that, link in the description and in a card for those. And on top of that, if you want to, you can actually deduce your secret ID by using some various techniques. And I'll be making a video on that soon, so I'll also have a link for that as well. If you don't want to restart your game, that is. But that's pretty much everything you're going to need in-game. It's not going to be too difficult. So what I would do is I'm going to leave the map open here for now before I write my roamer locations down. Okay, so let's move to what we're going to need out of game. Out of game, you're going to need 2 main programs. You're going to need EonTimer 3.0 by Das Ampharos, and you're going to need PokeFinder by Admiral Fish. Let's go to EonTimer 3.0 first. So we're going to take a look at it here. It's in the lower right-hand corner, and we're going to switch to the Gen 4 tab. For our calibrated delay, we're going to set that to 486, and calibrated second mixture is 14. Everything else we're going to fill in later. Then we're going to click the settings cog, and then we're going to click the timer. Now, the only thing we want to change here is the console. If you're playing on a Nintendo DS or a DS Lite, select NDS. If you're playing on a DSi, select DSi, and if you're playing on a 3DS, select 3DS. Everything else is for different games. GBA and NDS-GBA, they are for GBA games if you're playing them on a DS. All right, so with that said, we've got EonTimer set up. Now let's go into PokeFinder. We're going to click the Gen 4 tab, and then we're going to click the static button. So this will bring up a window here that will have all of the settings that we need to adjust. We're going to click the Searcher tab. Now, make sure you've got a profile set up. The profile contains your trainer ID, your secret ID, and what game you're playing, as well as some various other settings. I'm going to be doing my PKtopia save file. Now, we're going to be doing Method 1, and we're going to be doing no lead. Now, for the minimum delay in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, we'll set that to 500, and then max delay 5,000 is fine. Minimum delay and maximum delay is basically how long you're willing to wait at the title screen, or the save file select screen, excuse me. And the minimum advance and maximum advance is how many times you're willing to flip Chadot before and after. Okay, so there's a few different other parameters that we could set here. It's what IVs do we want, and do we want a shiny? And this is why you want to RNG a specific trainer ID and secret ID. So let me show you here. So if I want a Porygon Z, which is what I'm going to be going for, with like mostly perfect stats, and I do shiny and star or square. So this is a perfect shiny Pokemon, and I hit search. I am going to have a result here. This is going to be a timid hidden power dragon, Porygon Z with, or Porygon 2, whatever I end up using it for, with 30 defense and perfect everything else. That's it. These are my only 2 5IV shiny options. I might have one if I swap attack out for special attack. Hit search. See, I don't have any for attack and no special attack. So as you can see, my options for a good shiny aren't great. I didn't RNG this game to have any specifically good shiny for trainer ID, secret ID. Like this timid spread is nothing that anyone would want, right? And it's paired with a lonely spread, so it's It's not very valuable. So we can either pick shiny or we can pick perfect. So in this video, I'm just going to go for a quick shiny. So we're going to set all the IVs to 0. And then for the ability, I don't care which ability I have. For gender, it's genderless. For hidden power, I don't care. Nature, and we can make it a fun nature, right? We just make it bold, whatever. And then for shiny, there's a few different types. There's any, there's star, there's square, and there's star square. Star square means it would be a star or a square shiny. It will allow you to have both. Star is only for star shinies, and square is only for square shinies. These are for different shiny types that exist in Sword and Shield. So yeah, square is a little bit rarer technically, but it really doesn't matter, especially if you're only keeping it in this gen. So I'm just gonna do that. And when you click search, you're gonna get a bunch of results really fast, especially if you've got no IVs, filtered out here. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of them. So we're just gonna flip to a lower amount of advances. Maybe we'll go with one of these around the 30 advanced mark. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to right click this and we're going to click generate times for seed, and a new window is going to pop up called the seed to time window. So in here is going to be the seed, the year, and then the second value. We're not going to set the second's value to anything. And then if you've got roamers, what you can do is check the roamer boxes, and what we're going to want to do is input their locations. So Entei and my map is on 33. Raikuzan was at 45. Yep. And let's check out where Latias is. Latias is on Route 9. All right, and then we're going to click generate, and now you see it's going to tell us where our roamer position should be on our final seed. In addition to that, we're going to have to pick one of these results here. None of this matters. I'm just going to pick the first one. For your calibration, make sure the delay is set to plus and minus 200, and your second is set to plus and minus 1. Then pick one and hit generate. And now it's going to show you all of the nearby seeds that you could possibly hit. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to want to do is save our game in game. You don't want to move. You don't want to cause the roamers to move, so we're just going to save in front of this window. Now, we're also going to set up EonTimer at this point, so I'm going to go, oops, just open. Okay. So we're going to go to EonTimer, and for target delay, that's going to be the delay we see here, which is 4410. And for target second, what we're going to do is type the second here, which is 59. So it's 59. All right. Now with our game saved, we can turn it off and we can finish doing the setup. Now, there's something to keep in mind here about the delay. The delay is something that is always going to be even or odd when you launch your game. So in my case, I believe my delay is typically even. And if this was even and your delay, like you're hitting an odd delay, what you could do is change the year by 1. So if I change this to 2021, this is going to be an odd delay now. So it's very easy to just switch that. There's a few other techniques. Just keep an eye out on different tutorials that I make in order to switch to delay. You could use a Game Boy game to switch it if you put that in the second slot. And then also scrolling all the way down on the title screen will switch it to odd, but we'll see. Okay, so now I'm going to set the date and time accordingly to this. So it's going to be 4/27/2022. Hit OK, and then the time is 8:58:59. Scroll all the way down to 8. Now, if you notice in EonTimer, it says minutes before target is 1. That means we're going to have to make this 8 minutes 57 seconds because our target minute is 58 and our target, and it says minutes before target is 1. So we're going to do 1 minute early. And that's about all the setup. And we're ready to go and actually start the RNG minute itself. Okay, so what we're going to do is hit start on EonTimer at the same time as we confirm our time on the DS. And we can just turn the DS off after it says time setting saved. And now what we're going to have to do here is wait on this screen. We're going to wait on the screen until the timer finishes counting down. When it finishes counting down, we're going to hit A to load up the game. And then what we're going to do after that is get to the save file select screen as fast as possible. All right. So now I'm just going to hit A to load into the game as fast as possible, or to the title, the save file select. You want to get past the title screen and you want to get to here. There we go. So now what we're going to do is wait until this timer finishes counting down, and we're going to hit A at the right time in order to make sure that's loaded as well. Now what I'm doing is mashing the lower left-hand corner of my screen to bring up the Poke Gear. This is because there is an NPC in this area who can move randomly, and him doing that could cause unwanted RNG advancements. So you want to bring up this menu as fast as possible. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is check our roamers. So it says Latias is supposed to be on Route 17. She is not. Okay, let's check where the legendary beasts are. So Raikou is 29 and Entei is 31. So let's look for that on here. Okay, I found it. 20. Oh, no. I found a 29 Raikou, but it's still wrong. Check it again. I lost my original position. So I don't see Raikou 29 anywhere other than this 37 one. So that means I missed my seed, and because I can't find where it is, what I'm going to do is click this search calls button. And now what we're going to do is call a Juggler Irwin to see where I've landed. So that's P. So you're just going to click the button that corresponds to his phone call. So here he'll say, I'm so glad you called. That's the K button, so I click K. And you're just going to do this until it says possible results 0. You got your escapade rocks my world. How are you? That's P. Hear about your escapades rocks my world. There we go. I'm so glad you called. So glad you called. As you see, the results get narrower every time. Bet you escapades rocks my world. There you go. Hopefully we only have to do 1 or 2 more. Okay, E. Yeah. And so the thing about calling Irwin is every time you call him, it does an RNG advancement. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've done 10 advancements, and that's something to keep in mind when you do your advancements after confirming the Irwin call. So we're going to hit OK, and it'll highlight what we've landed on. So this is interesting. Our roamer positions are... partially. Oh, no, Raikou's on 20. I thought he was on 29. He is on 46. Ha! So he was right here. I just misread Raikou's location because I had my cursor one route far down. So we hit 4414 as our delay when our target delay is 4410. So what we're going to do is type that into the delay hitbox, 4414. And then we're going to click update. And then it'll change our calibrated delay, and we can just try again. Now, the one thing that you need to understand about this is, like I said, if I had hit 4413, I would have had to do something to make sure that I can hit even delays, or odd delays, rather, right? I'm hitting an odd delay, so I have to do something to make the game hit an odd delay. So again, if I had changed this to 2021, my target delay would have been 4411 instead, right? And that is just the simplest way to do that and to consider for that. Okay, so we're just going to change the time back. And give it another go. So it was 8:58, and we have to do 57. All right. Now this time I'm going to cut out all the waiting for the timers, so you don't actually need to wait. There's not going to be a minute lull in the video. All right, so Latias is on 14. So we've missed it again. We're actually early this time, I bet you. 43, 44 probably. Yeah, so typically you don't... I'm not going to always use the roamers, but once you know that you're close, it's okay to use the roamers as your verification. So I was a bit early this time. I'm going to change EonTimer. I sort of knew I overcorrected, but that's fine. And click update, bring back to 46. Sometimes when you're doing this, you could tell that the button inputs are just... like I could tell my button inputs were slow on my first attempt, and that I overcorrected there, but it's worth it to show how the calibration process works. Okay, so I'll pause again. Where the heck is Raikou? Alright, just try again. Oh, I was one late. Right, it's 43 ente. Yeah. Oh, we're close. We're close, everybody. Latios is on the right route. Entei and Raikou are as well. It's 35 to 36. So, with them on the proper route, we could do Irwin calls. But, like I said, once I verified that I was only 4 away, right, with my Irwin calls, I knew I'm going to be close, so I don't need to do that. So I'm going to move directly into Chata. Now, there's a few different things to keep in mind. One, you saw how many attempts I had to do before, you know, I landed on this, right? You saw me, you know, checking and doing that. That's what RNG is. If you are missing it, just confirm where you are and try again. That is what you have to keep doing until you eventually hit your seed. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is look at Chadot's summary. But before I do that, I'm going to set everything else up. So what we're going to do is copy our seed here. So I'm going to copy that and hide this window. Then we're going to go back to Gen 4 static, and we're going to click the generator section. We're going to leave method 1, none, initial advances, all the same. We're going to paste our seed here and then hit generate. And we're going to look for advanced number 33. So we're going to scroll all the way down to that. So advanced 33, you can see, is a star shiny. So we should, having with the roamers around, be at probably advanced number 3. There's a chance we're a little past. I didn't see any NPCs move, but even if they just started their movement, they could have caused an advancement. So we're going to take a look here to see if where we're at, and we're going to have to use Chadot's pitches to best verify this. So that was like kind of low, mid-low, I would say. Maybe that was this, maybe that was mid. Maybe that was mid and then mid-high. Ooh, there's 2 mid-highs. Yeah, it could be this one. Who's this? Ooh, I don't know where we are at all. When I don't know where I am, what I like to do is look for something that is identifiable. I can't imagine we're much further past here. What I'll do is I'll scroll back until I hear high and then 2 mid-lows. That was a low and then a high. I don't see that anywhere. Oh, I think we're here. I think I found it. Yes, we're here. So I noticed the 2 mid-highs into mid, into mid-low, and that's how I figured out where I was. It takes a lot of, you know, very skillful listening, and if you are bad at it, I suggest doing Irwin, but Irwin is a bit slow for my taste, so I tend to use the Chadot pitches. Okay. So here we are at advance number 32. We want to end 1 advance before our target advance, which is 33. So at this point, what we're going to do is close this menu, and then we're going to close and then hit B and then A as fast as possible to talk to the clerk so no movement can occur. Perfect. So I'm going to buy a Porygon. And let's check our Porygon. And there we have it. A shiny Porygon with a bold nature. As you can see, this is not something that is tremendously difficult. This probably didn't even take me 20 minutes to get the minute done. So thank you all for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I will see you next tutorial.